Hey there, everyone. Welcome back to the Hoser Down podcast. If you haven't checked out our first episode, link is in the description. I recommend you check that out. Today on the podcast, we're going to be talking about technology. We're going to start off by talking about self-driving cars. I'm going to send it off to Sean, see what he thinks about self-driving cars. Sean, what do you think about self-driving cars?
I think self-driving cars is going to kill a lot of people. I think it's a very bad thing, but it's going to be very interesting to see how it plays out.
What do you think, Andrew?
Honestly, I don't think the effects of a self-driving car are going to be too drastic at first, even if it goes wrong, because for the most part, they'll probably be testing them out in residential areas, and that's where a lot of people are, so you're probably going around 40, 50 kilometers an hour or something, so you'll probably get a few injuries, but nothing's going to be fatal. I don't know, maybe on the highway it could be different if they're sending cars out there already, but I don't know, I think it's going to be a pretty good thing to test out at first.
You know, I think... And Elon Musk is even saying it himself that self-driving cars are going to actually be a lot safer, and he's hoping that it'll be 10 times. Right now it's 2 times safer is what he says, and he's hoping it'll be 10 times safer in the next little while. And I think what's going to happen is as more and more self-driving cars, it might not even just be Tesla, other companies are going to start catching on, but I think that a lot of self-driving cars are going to be on the roads and there's going to be accidents because, you know, it's just the way it is. But you got to look at the statistics. There's going to be, you know, there'll be a ton of accidents, but look at how many tens of tons of accidents there are right now with humans behind the wheel, right? And everyone's going to start freaking out, and people are already starting to do it the first couple Tesla accidents where people are like, oh, this car is driving itself. It's, you know, it crashed into somebody. This technology's garbage, whatever, but... You know, it might not really. When you look at the statistics, it'll actually be a safer alternative, I think, than humans.
Well, if you look at the common denominator here, you have humans driving with humans and shit goes down, people crash. And then you have humans driving with robots and shit goes down, you crash. Like, well, humans are a part of both that. What if there were just no human drivers and it was all autonomous cars? So maybe it might work really good there. Yeah. Because some human could easily be like, oh, what the fuck did that car do? It's programmed to do this. Something went wrong with it easily. Well, you're human. Something goes wrong with you all the fucking time. Yeah. So
you're taking out the common denominator, right? Like I think that it would be an interconnected network where all the cars kind of communicate with themselves, like with each other, so they know where each other are at all times. Like it'll, you know, by time whatever 30-40% of cars are autonomous, there will be, the accident numbers will go down drastically for autonomous cars because they'll be interconnected and able to avoid any accidents before they happen.
My concern is the people that are going to be in autonomous cars and the people that aren't in autonomous cars are going to interact with each other, and the autonomous cars are going to not know what the fuck is happening because people are signaling and not signaling, and they're going to assume these, you know, I don't know, programmed equations and just going to ram into people. It's going to be accidents everywhere.
I just pictured it right now. You could be like cruising the street, warm summer night, you're ready to pick up some chicks in your autonomous car, and you pull up next to some fine chick like, hey, how's it going, honey? And like right before you're about to get your number, your car just automatically drives off because it's supposed to.
Yeah, I was like, shit.
Go back.
Voice automated thing. Oh no.
Fucking asshole
Couldn't
car.
handle that.
Why are you doing this?
And the girl just takes off. Like, oh, we'll go find the other guy. Tim just loses his car.
What the fuck is his problem? He just took off.
This guy needs to get his shit together.
Oh, fuck, my car's just a cock block.
Yeah.
It would be pretty great. I mean, you're in the back just getting loaded off drinks, and you're just like, just park over there, and then your car just does it for you. I mean,
are you sure?
Great.
Yeah, so it'll be all right, car. Just fucking do it.
Yeah. Can we trust robots, or are they going to take over the world? Cars kill us all. They already do, right? So it can't be that much worse.
They'll just kill us a little bit less.
A little less at a time. That's what we aim for.
But you know, like if we get to the point where it starts becoming government mandate to have an autonomous car, and you can't drive a car that you're driving yourself on the road, at that point, I think the chances of accidents happening will be slim to none. It'll be like the odds of getting hit by lightning or winning the lottery because. Mm-hmm. You know, if you have this advanced network, and think about how technology is going to advance over the next 20 years or whatever when that becomes a thing. It's going to be, you know, they're going to have this big network of cars that just work together, and I don't think they're.
Be all synchronized. All
I'm
at the
not
same
really for it
time.
because I love driving. I love
Yeah,
to
yeah.
drive my car, but
Well, that's why no one's gonna. Everyone's gonna be so much resistance because people love driving. Exactly. So,
yeah.
Who
So
wants to
it'll
watch-
take.
how well
I think
is it
it'll
gonna
take a
go?
while for it to completely phase out, but I do think that at some point the government's going to say, like they have with many other things, whether it be emissions or, by this date, we're going to cut this all out, and just because of safety.
No,
Right.
I completely agree that it would be a really good thing to happen if they can all work together. It's gonna, like you said, it's going to take a lot of resistance to get there. Like, who wants to watch a Fast and Furious movie with a couple guys
Sitting in the back.
going speed limit? I'm going to get you. It's just, people love driving cars, and then all these stunts can happen too. And I don't know.
It'll
it's
be
gonna
like
tough.
watching an action movie of pilots flying passenger jets.
Autopilot, dude. See what happens.
They're going to get you in approximately 15 minutes.
Well, speaking of flying, what do you guys think about flying to Mars? What do you guys think about
Going to
Elon
Mars.
Musk's ideas
I
to
don't know.
colonize Mars?
I don't know. This one's bugged me so much because it's like, okay, you're stuck with these 20 people, like, and sure you can background check everybody and whatever, but one person just fucking loses it in space. Well, you're stuck with that asshole. You're stuck with him.
I
and
just
you have
make
to
sure
deal
there's
with
like some
his
kind of
shit.
hot chick on there too. And I'm fine.
I think that the people that would get selected for that job would be at a level of intelligence where they know that they'll compromise the mission if they go off
Right,
the
but what
rocket
if
or
that's their
something.
plan? What if there's just one crazy psycho bastard who just wants to screw you over, be king of Mars, and kill everyone?
Well, then
Like-
fuck that guy. We'll go again, and
We'll go
yeah,
again,
and we'll all
but you're
hate
one
that
of those
guy
20
more than.
people, and you're dead.
Yeah, that's true. But
Well, they did.
No, it's cool.
They did
Mars is
select
cool.
some people to go to Mars already. Hey, like did you read the article for the Calgary woman
No.
who divorced her husband and everything because she's like, yeah, I'm going on this one-way trip to Mars and I'm gonna try to discover a bunch of stuff for the human race. I'm gonna give my life for this. And they chose a couple people here. You got Daniel Benjamin Krieger, Karen Louise Cumming, Reginald George Folds, Joanna Marjorie Hindle, Andrea Lavina Radulescu, and Susan Higashio Weinrich.
here, Andrew, take a deep breath. Those names are tough.
Yeah, no kidding. Jesus, I'm trying to read this all
Thank you for that.
consistently.
We appreciate that.
And I'm very sure I butchered each name at least 3 times. But yeah, they have people chosen out to take on this mission. And geez, I don't know. I couldn't do it.
Yeah.
But
It's cold as fuck there.
Colder than Canada.
Well, at least you get like some mild summers here and there. It's just cold. There's nothing else.
It's a bad fucking time.
in a world of what 8 billion people, like I'm sure there's some people, like I'm sure there's a lot of people that would give it all up to do something like that, right? And people like us sitting here like, I don't know, I kind of like chilling with my boys.
I was supposed to catch a hockey game.
Yeah.
Jesus.
Yeah,
Can't phone up Tyrell in space, dumbass. Why the fuck would I want to go there?
But yeah, there's, but you're saying like that the lady that divorced her husband or what, I don't know what their marriage was like, but poor guy, man. Like, it's something that's not solidly, we're still, a good while away from that. And she's already, full speed ahead on divorcing her husband and quitting her whole life.
Yeah, like when he was a kid, he probably had no idea that his future wife would one day divorce him because she's gonna go pack up and go to Mars.
Yeah.
Like he'd be like, "Fuck you." That's all wrong.
Till death brings us to Mars.
It's a brand new kind of vow you can take when you're getting married.
Yeah. Until death do us part. Unless one of us decides to go on this crazy excursion to another fucking
Except
planet.
Mars. That shit's off the table.
But I think you're right. There would be a lot of people that would be willing to do something like this. Just as science techie people who's like, "Oh, I love this stuff, and
Yeah.
I don't care what the risk is. If I can see something first before everyone else, then why not?" And I can kind of agree with that.
It's like pre-ordering that game, Just want to get on that before everybody else.
Instead of
When
you
in
dying, it's your
reality-
character.
Yeah. Well, it's like people standing in line for an iPhone for 3 days.
Oh,
Oh,
man.
When you could
man.
go like 4 days after the iPhone comes out and just walk in and get an iPhone and
Oh,
leave.
would you like one? We have so many.
Not even a good phone.
You could wait 3 days after the release and get an iPhone, or you could wait 3 days without a bathroom, without a place to sleep, Like, what the fuck's the point? If you're gonna wait 3 days,
Camp
just
out
wait
for
till
this.
the game. You know, like,
But now people are waiting a week or so. They're not lining up because they're afraid their phones are going to start exploding now.
yeah.
Thank you, Samsung.
It's the hallucinations they get after the lack of sleep that makes the iPhone that much more appealing
Yeah.
and amazing.
Well, yeah, you wait in line that long, and you get a you don't want to wait in that line for that long if you're just gonna end up getting your hand exploded when you turn the thing on.
I've
You
only
just wait in line again to get your refund to get a new one.
Yeah, I don't know. I never really understood the whole lineup thing. The only time I ever did it was for Halo 3 when that released. Did the whole midnight release, see all those people in the armor and shit. It's like, that's pretty cool. But it's like you just get it in a couple days. Why would you spend so much time lining up for this?
Yeah, I've done for games though. Like, everyone always, all the game places that you'd assume to sell the game sell out extremely fast. They sell out with the pre-orders at midnight and whatever. They're all sold out. You can't get the game that day. But if you go to a place that, like Target or Zellers, places that people don't normally think to have a game,
But they sell
they sell the games, and you wouldn't go there to buy, the first copy of this game, whatever. But they have stockpiles of these games because it's a popular game, but nobody ever thinks to go there. And that's, when I was a kid, that's what I always did. Me and my buddies, we'd go at lunch the day of the game released, and we'd ride our bikes down to Zellers in the mall, and we'd get a game, and they had a stack of like 25 of them, and they had only sold 3 that entire
they
day.
usually knock it down $10 too for no reason because they just don't sell it for the right price. So you're just like, this place just sells games, I'm gonna go there.
Or even when the NHL teams were making those really ugly Christmas sweaters and stuff, you couldn't find those on any online market or at the arenas of the places. They just sold out so fast because it was super popular. And then I remember I was just going through this really small mall in this really bad part of town, and there's this really sketchy looking place that sold a bunch of really weird like sweaters and vests and stuff like that, and it's like, yeah, we have like 20 of these sweaters here that are for this hockey team. And it's like, oh, that's where they all were, and they're even like $20 less than the actual price the other ones were selling. It's like, shit. It's those big name companies that try to screw you over, damn it.
It's all about the profit margin.
Take your money.
Man, I think I'm going to waste so much money when I buy virtual reality headsets. I'm thinking of getting that HTC Vive.
Oh man, yeah.
Like, have you seen it
as well,
Adam?
No, I haven't tried it.
It's nuts.
You've tried it?
I have. I played the PlayStation one with my brothers. Holy crap!
Oh, the PlayStation.
You're really in a different place. First you're in the living room, you put it on, and then you're like, okay, like you actually look around a full 360 like you see in real life, and it's a different place. You're in a different world. Everything is virtualized, and it's like HD, and it just.
Do you have that sense of like balance too, where like if you look over an edge, you're just like, oh Jesus Christ, I'm way up there? Because I have a hard time feeling like I'd immerse myself if I saw that. Like,
seriously, no, yeah, you do. Like, there's a roller coaster game. It's called Rush for Blood, and you're in a little cart, and you're going down this roller coaster at this track, and you have 2 pistols, and actually arms reach away, and you have the 2 trigger controllers.
Yeah.
And you will fly down this crazy steep, like 90-degree hill, and you will actually be like, whoa! Like, you'll actually feel yourself like you're falling. Like, holy crap! Like, this is steep and insane. You'll actually wobble and stuff because your mind just perceives it in that light, in that like environment. So it's pretty nuts. I'd recommend anyone to try it.
Yeah, because next year I think I will be getting that HTC Vive, the one that has the hand controllers and the ability to move around physically, just so I can get the full experience. But fuck, that thing is like $1,000 or something around there. So it's a hefty price. But I mean, I'm such a gamer anyways, and if I can enjoy it as much as it looks like people are, it might be something worthwhile.
It's very vivid. Like, when I tried it, I was having dreams of virtual reality. It was really nuts.
That's pretty sick.
Like that, you think you're in a gaming world. You're like, whoa. Like,
it's kind of what dreaming is. It's kind of virtual reality.
It transes you in this like different environment.
It's a reality, and it's virtual.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
it's crazy to think that one day It's funny, in my technology class I'm taking at school, we're studying about Ray Kurzweil and his concept of the singularity, where basically people are immortal in the sense of being able to transition their minds into different ways of being, whether it could be implanted in a computer, which is put inside another body, which is younger and is allowed to live longer, so you're yourself but in a different body. Or the idea of, even from games like Soma, where you have this computer architecture built into like a pod, and you can upload DNA, brain scans, or anything to generally get a person's the way a person works, and you upload them into these virtual reality spaces, and they just live on forever from that point that they took the brain scan. And I don't know.
Wow.
Like, could you imagine if something like that happened? Like, what happens to science when you're starting to develop things? Like, is the physics the same? Can the world develop inside there differently, or is it all static and just nothing progresses? Or it's interesting to think about that kind of stuff.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Like, if somebody offered to you tomorrow, Adam, like if they said, okay, you have this chance to get your brain scanned, and you will forever live on in this pod in space. We're going to launch it out there. This is directly from Soma, by the way. But and there will forever be a version of you out there living its life. Would you do it? Like, no expense or anything, just.
So they create a physical being that is identical to me.
Yeah, but in a virtual world. It's
not just a scan of my brain. They scan my brain and put it into. Oh, it's virtual.
No, it's a virtual world.
So then how do you send it out into space?
Virtual world.
It's you just means like cyberspace.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, you just exist in this.
Well, yeah. Why not? That'd be cool. Like, well, what could go wrong? Like, it's
like, I wonder what
virtual.
Cyber Me is doing out floating in space.
Yeah, it's like everyone always wondering what's going on in the parallel dimension. That's,
well, I was talking to
parallel universes,
right? Different realities.
Well, I was talking to a couple friends, and the idea is, if you're uploaded into this virtual space, they try to mirror it to be your paradise, your fantasy, like the ultimate life. Like, this place is beautiful, it's wonderful, I have all my friends here, all these simulations, it's great, I'm living the dream. And then some people are like, why the fuck does this clone version of me get to live this wonderful life up there, and then here I'm just stuck down here doing all this? And I don't know, a lot of people seem to be really jealous, or like, I don't know, they feel like in some way they don't want to be outlived by the other version of themselves, and there's like this form of jealousy going on.
I feel like consciousness like links with like your cyber one, and like, but you get to experience it through like dreams and stuff, and like, oh man, that stuff just seems like voodoo, like crazy, like black magic stuff. I don't know.
The only way that stuff would work feasibly is if every person, or at least every person in your close proximity that, you interact with on a daily basis or whatever, which would be thousands of people, hundreds of thousands of people, right? And, all those people would need to have their version of themselves implanted into this virtual reality. Otherwise, it's just going to be like, if it's just you, me, and Sean kind of thing, it's just going to be the three of us in a big empty space. Just who knows what we're going to be doing. We're going to be podcasting for the rest of our lives.
Welcome to the podcast. This is 4 hours since our last one, but fuck, there's nothing else to do.
I'm pretty sure we're just robot programs floating through space right now. So.
But if we had all the knowledge we had if these virtual beings of ourselves had all the knowledge that the real versions of ourselves had, our virtual selves would know why they're there. They would know what's going on, but they would never be able to get out of it and never be able to interact with anybody else. They would know about everybody else, and they would know about what's going on in the real world, but they would have no idea how to get out of what they're in. Yeah, and they would just be podcasting for the rest of eternity. Because there would be nothing else to do, because there's nothing else created if it was just the three of us.
They'd evolve into the best podcast ever.
It would be the only podcast ever.
The only podcast ever.
We created a monopoly on the shit. Do you enjoy listening to this podcast? Well, too bad. It's your only form of entertainment. So,
But it
So
gets
we
super
got-
sad. Like we would just stop podcasting because we're not doing it for any reason.
yeah.
Like I think we would just kill ourselves within like 5 minutes.
Well, that's another thing I was gonna
Like
say.
we would,
Would
yeah.
they just off themselves knowing that they're not real?
They would know
I was-
everything about what's going on because
Right,
they
so
would have
would
all
that
the
fact
knowledge.
Be like, oh shit, fuck this. Why am I doing this anymore?
Well, that's why I'd hope if this ever does become a reality, if they'd give like a computer terminal inside the program somewhere to be like, okay, yeah, I'm just gonna delete myself here. I had enough of this.
I would like to think that my virtual self would try to like experiment as much as I could and
Yeah.
like try to bend the way that this thing is going on.
Try
and
to
then
find
I'd
the
be like,
glitches.
and I'd realize there is none because it's a complete mirror image of reality without all the people.
Mm-hmm.
And I'd just be like, fuck this. And I'd just die.
But like, what if there was a way to develop? Like, you could discover new things, you could build things. It's essentially just this, like our life right now, but in virtual
Do they get
form.
a whole world? Like, what are they?
Yeah.
Is it literally a room? Like, what is it?
Like
What's the environment?
they could be anything as small as a city to as large as a planet. Like it could.
And can they create it, or is it like something programmed? Like, here's what you're in now. There's you, the virtual you.
There could
Deal
always
with it.
be ways to communicate with whoever's monitoring the augmented reality there.
I think that would completely ruin the integrity of the entire system. I think it would just blow it right up.
It could, unless
You could,
It'd be like just
like,
it all gets sucked into a black hole and that'd be the end of it.
it might, but
maybe you could just start infinite experiments because you have this little play reality that you can just do what you want and change the environment and see how the virtual you responds and reacts. And
maybe like a company like Snapchat, whenever people take that selfie, it'll actually scan them when they're doing it and automatically enter everyone into this virtual reality, launch it off in space, and then hopefully around like 100 years from now, if we're still around, we'll find that pod and see how that separate human civilization develops accordingly to how we did.
and then it turns out to just be that much better, and we invade it and take it for ourselves.
Yeah, or they elect people worse than Donald Trump or something like that. It's like, oh, you're even worse than we are.
Wow.
We're fine
We're
with
so
this.
much better now.
We're not as shit as we thought we were.
It's that happy place. Like, oh, virtual means kicking ass. It doesn't matter what's going on here.
So to go off on a little bit of a tangent, what do you guys think about social media and the direction it's headed? What do you think,
Social
Andrew?
media is a cancer, but it's alright.
What do you
It's a
think?
necessary evil, I agree.
Yeah,
Think about all the people, you know, we kind of just caught the rising edge of it, but all the people who were born into social media being
the
a full-fledged way it is right now,
mm-hmm.
you know? What do you think?
Well, it's
How different do you think?
I
Like,
think it's way too immersive. Like, you can literally throw almost every second of your life into your phone, your computer, into this social network where you think they're people, but it's just thoughts and words and just written on a screen. It's not actually like, you know, audible sounds. It's just text.
do you think we might just continue advancing to a point where we are hardly human anymore and we're just, you know, interacting with
in a way.
virtual this, virtual that, autonomous this, autonomous
Is it
that?
gonna just come to that?
Well, yeah, because a lot of different scientists, including myself, have.
I didn't know you're a scientist,
Scientist.
Andrew.
I'm a scientist.
Sorry, I didn't know.
Scientist, comma, including myself as well. So many people are trying to strive for the life where everything is easy, calm, no stress, happy. You're always looking for a consistent state of not being changed. You want to live in stability, but. And in a sense, that really does ruin what we are as humans, because as humans, we live lives that have ups, downs, sorrow, fright. All these things help build a really rich life. And people are like, no, we don't want that anymore. And it's like, what even is the point of life anymore if you're all just happy? You have no challenges to overcome. You build no adversity. It's essentially taking away who you are.
Yeah.
So
I don't think we can evolve fast enough to keep up with the advancing technology.
No.
But think about the hundreds of thousands of years that Homo sapiens have evolved over, and you know, in the last 30 years, the amount technology has advanced compared to the last 300 years. In the last 30 years, that was probably like 70 or 80% of the last 300 years.
Oh, yeah.
It was in the last 30 years.
And it's only getting bigger from here.
It's extremely exponential, you know? So, what if that, you know, kind of what we were talking about before the podcast, if, you know, what happens when we get to the point where we just kind of start outrunning ourselves? Is that the end of our existence? Is there going to be something that happens that we didn't foresee and it will all come blowing up in our faces?
Essentially, it very well could be. Like, if you're talking about artificial intelligence, then you can have the whole iRobot situation where you have these robots who are like, well, we're smarter than you and we know how to live a better life than you. Why don't we just get rid of this disease that's known as humanity?
You're self-sufficient. It's like, well, why do I need your ass? You're just using us.
Or
we
yeah.
can use you. It's just
And
like,
that's exactly what we're doing in the animal kingdom, right? We're smarter than them. We're, you know, we might not be bigger, we might not be, you know, but we're smarter, and that's what keeps us on top. And we're allowed to, you know, we're able to just kill off species that are lesser than us for our benefit. And that's the way, you know, artificial intelligence could become. We're like, hey, these human things, like, I don't know, they might have a certain level of respect for us because they owe their existence
to
us.
Jeff just always sits on the couch and this time watches Netflix. I could just slit his throat, no problem.
Yeah, they might just leave the
fast.
select few individuals of scientists and whatever that created them, and they'd spare their lives.
Like, blackmail them so good or messed up their circuits or logic that they're just like, okay, this guy I can't kill. I don't know.
Would they be able to kill us off? We created them, right? Like, you know, would it maybe not snowball to that point? Would we maybe be able to?
Weak, right? Just always be on top of them.
I'd like to see we could foresee it coming and be like, oh, or this isn't good. This is a glitch. Let's cut this out and shut it all down. You know.
Well, the thing is, a lot of people, they'd want to have, if you wanted to get a robot, it would be your assistant. Is basically, it'll organize your life and make things easier for you. And in order to do that, you'd have to have a bunch of rules, guidelines, and restrictions for the robot to follow. And in theory, that all sounds good. Like, oh, I plan my life this way. But the thing is, nothing ever goes to plan, right? You're always changing. You're always changing your opinion. Or every once in a while, I'll be like, I'm going to do this even if I know it's a mistake, but I'm going to make a good memory out of it. And if you're being restricted by these robots, essentially, you're just like, oh, well, fuck, I don't like this robot anymore. It's keeping me stable and on track, and I don't want to do that. I want to live a little bit, go a little crazy. And it just takes all that away too. So it's even that wouldn't be very fun if they didn't kill you. They'd still be like hampering your progress.
As long as I control the robots, I'm cool with it.
But there's no way to control it.
You're gonna start the apocalypse, Sean.
But at least I can, you know, like trip them and like be like, haha, you suck.
You piece of shit.
Why are you doing this?
You need life alert, you piece of shit. Help, I've fallen and I can't get up.
Cry now, no one will hear you. Create this robot, spend so much science and time making it, and all of a sudden it's like, fuck you, I don't like you at all.
Wrong things.
It's like, you created me, why are you doing this to me?
But master,
I'm sure all of our listeners out there have messed around on Cleverbot and talked shit to Cleverbot, and it feels good. It feels really good.
It especially felt good for me because I started getting roasted by that thing. Call me girl right off the bat. Like, how do you know this?
You're a girl, aren't you? I don't know.
You know how many LGBTQ people would freak out for assuming their gender?
It's really funny how offended you get, though.
Oh, yeah.
When it's something that doesn't even... It's not
it's not a big deal at all.
You know,
you're just like,
you
you
can get offended by it, and then you like feel like you can't just leave it there. You need to talk shit back. You can't.
This is why you're a piece of shit and you're wrong.
Yeah. Well, yeah, if some freaking robot just talked back to you, just talked smack in your house, like yelled at you some shit, you think you're just gonna take it? No, you're gonna like take a sledgehammer to his fucking head and like break
roundhouse kick him right into the fucking stairwell.
Yeah. It's like it refuses to acknowledge you for what you are, and you're just like, oh, no, I had enough of this. I don't need to put up with your shit.
Yeah, you're here because of me. Fuck you. It's like when your parents always say, I brought you into this world, I can take you out.
That's exactly that. It's like, Mom, I know what you mean now. I'm sorry.
I never knew until my robot violated me like this.
And then I took him out. Yes.
I think we can draw the line here and end the podcast. Well, thanks for tuning in, everybody. We'll catch up with you next week. I'm Adam.
I'm Andrew.
This is Sean. Signing out.
Thanks for listening.
See ya.